Here are 5 Airbnb lessons you're gonna learn the hard way. Now, if you're just getting started in Airbnb and you're excited, you think everything's gonna be amazing, please watch this video because there's a reality check in here about some of the things that will go wrong. And likewise, if you're a bit scared to get started, or you're panicking, or you're really worried about everything that could go wrong, here are 5 of the big things that will. So if you watch this video, you'll know what to expect and you'll be able to prepare for some of them so they're not as bad as they could be. My name's Dave and my company Central Belfast Apartments manages a portfolio of properties worth over £6 million. We've hosted tens and tens of thousands of guests. We're number 1 on TripAdvisor, we've won awards. I've been in the industry for about 15 years and built up serious experience. I've been around the block more than a few times and nothing surprises me anymore. But as well as managing Central Belfast Apartments, I also coach people who are getting started in Airbnb. I want to help people who are going through the same things that I went through back at the start. There were no Airbnb coaches back then. I want to help people jump over the mistakes that they can make, learn from my experience, and get to where they want to go faster. Now at the end of this video, if you've got some value, click the link below because I've got some cool resources that are going to help you out on your journey. If you're just starting out, there's a scorecard, a little quiz, it only takes 2 minutes, and it's just a few questions to see, are you ready to get started in Airbnb? It's completely free. On top of that, I have an Airbnb Starter Kit. That includes loads of useful information. So there's a checklist of everything you need in your property. There's the vetting procedure that we use on a daily basis in my company. And there's my 5-star formula of how to get perfect reviews every time. You can also get my book, Serviced Accommodation 5-Star Fundamentals, which spells out the 5 things that you need to have in place for your Airbnb business to succeed. And if you still need some more help, you can book a one-to-one strategy call with me. Okay, so lesson number 1. If you try and cheat the system by bringing a substandard, not very good property to Airbnb, you're going to get found out. Now, what does substandard mean? Well, the number 1 thing that affects whether a property works or not is the location. If you have a property in an amazing location, you're going to have no problem getting bookings. If it's in a bad location, now what do I mean by bad location? It could be hard to find, it could be hard to get into, it could be really noisy, it could be in a dangerous part of town, or just an unpleasant area, then that property really isn't going to work for Airbnb. It might be cheap, it might be easy to buy and turn into an Airbnb, but when you have guests coming, they're all going to feel the same way. They're all going to feel unwelcome or unsafe, and they're going to leave negative reviews. And once you get a couple of those, it's game over. And it's the same with inside the property. If you try and jazz it up with some fancy photos to make the place look bigger, or to put some nice furniture in and then take it back out again, when the guests arrive, they're going to feel disappointed, and again, they're going to leave negative reviews. So you really cannot cheat. You can't try and hoodwink guests, because when they come, they're going to leave negative reviews and everyone else is going to see them. Lesson number 2. Guests can be really annoying. Now, when you start to get bookings in, you're going to feel really happy, you're going to feel invigorated, this is amazing, I can't wait, look at this money in the bank. But this is when the real work starts. You will have to work for that money. Once guests make a booking, they're going to contact you with a million different questions. They can be so demanding, they want responses immediately, and it can be really tough to smile and say, yes sir, no sir. But this is a hospitality business, and you do have to deliver exceptional customer service if you want to get the good reviews. You have to think about this as a hotel. And when you're staying in a hotel, if you request something, you're going to get it. And it's the same way for your guests in your Airbnb. Lesson number 3, Airbnb is a really crowded marketplace. Now, because Airbnb make it so straightforward to get set up, it only takes 5-10 minutes, a couple of clicks, you can be live on their site in no time. And because they have so many different categories of types of accommodation that can go on there, like a spare room, a tree house, a shed, an apartment, a boat, anything. So that means that even in a very small geographical area, a small town or village, your property could be competing with 50 or 100 other properties, and every single one of them is going to be on Airbnb. It's really difficult to stand out on Airbnb. You can either offer something exceptional, either an exceptional property, exceptional customer service, and exceptional reviews, or you can try and stand out by being the cheapest. Now, this is a really dangerous method of standing out. Once you become the cheapest, yes, you will get lots of bookings in, but all the other properties of a similar standard to yours will see that you've dropped your prices and will drop theirs to remain competitive. You then, if you want to maintain this being the cheapest, have to drop yours even further, then they drop theirs, and it's a race to the bottom. So you really do not want to be competing on price. So the best way to not be oversaturated in the Airbnb market is to not just rely on Airbnb. There are so many other booking sites out there. My pick, the one we get most of our bookings from, is booking.com. Now, it's nowhere near as user-friendly as Airbnb. Expedia is also a massive one, and again, it's nowhere near as user-friendly either. But the breadth the scope of the guests that they bring is unbelievable. They have hundreds, thousands, millions of visitors to their websites every day, and those are people that would never necessarily use Airbnb. So you're opening up your property to a completely different market. Now, yes, you lose a lot of the safety features that Airbnb build in that keep people hosts on their system, like inquiries, seeing people's profile photos, seeing guests' reviews. You don't get any of that on booking.com. It's not as safe. It's a bit like the Wild West. That's where the rewards are. If you're willing to go there, learn the systems, you're going to open up your property to so many more different types of guests. Lesson number 4, this business can take over your life. Now, when you just get started and you've got one property, you might feel like you should do the cleaning yourself. It only takes a few hours. Why not? And you might think that about the linen as well. You might want to meet every guest that arrives. And very soon, before you know it, you're spending hours and hours and hours at that property and you're not accounting for your own time. The other issue is you do not get to decide when those hours are. So guests make bookings, they check in and check out, and if you have a changeover day when someone's leaving and another person's arriving, you don't get to pick that day. That's happening, that change needs done, that clean needs done. Add to that all the hours of admin, the out of hours phone calls, and this can be a really tough business. You could end up, instead of a business, having a bad job. So what you really need to do is systemize everything as much as possible. Leverage other people in the form of housekeepers and a laundrette or someone to hire linen from. Leverage technology in the form of a channel manager that's going to deal with all your rates and availability across all your booking sites, automated emails. You really need to be mindful and conscious all the time about detaching yourself from the business. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck geographically linked to the property. You want to be able to set this business up where it can run from anywhere in the world. And lesson number 5, there are some horrible, horrible people out there who book Airbnbs. Now, we've all heard the horror stories about places being trashed. I'm here to tell you that that is not a fairy tale, that is real life. You need to be so careful about who you're letting into your property. There are, unfortunately, nasty people who book Airbnbs for the purposes of just partying, and they don't care anything about it. They will just trash the place. So you need to vet your guests really well. And you can see the vetting procedure that we use by clicking the link below. Do not be naive with guests. They will try and hoodwink you and pull the wool over your eyes. You need to be streetwise and firm. If you have any doubt whatsoever about the validity of a booking, do not let them in. You have to be strong, you have to be assertive, and you have to protect your property. So that's my 5 lessons. Now, I hope you don't learn them the hard way, but you might have to. Now, these are hard lessons to learn. They can cost you money, they can cost you time, they're stressful. I hope this video has helped you to maybe jump over some of them, learn from my experience. If you got value from it, please hit subscribe. Please also leave me a comment if you've learned any other lessons through your journey on Airbnb. And as I say, click the link below. There's lots of resources there that are going to help you to avoid learning these lessons the hard way.